There are moments in royal history when the loudest headlines are not created by grand ceremonies or glittering crowns, but by quiet decisions that seem almost invisible until the world realizes what they truly represent. Sometimes, a single choice can reshape decades of tradition without a single word being spoken. This week, royal watchers found themselves asking exactly that question after renewed discussion surrounding one of the monarchy's most treasured legacies, the jewels once associated with Queen Elizabeth II. According to reports and widespread commentary, a series of developments involving Prince William and Lady Louise Windsor has sparked fresh debate over who will ultimately safeguard some of the crown's most symbolic heirlooms. While many online headlines have claimed that Queen Camilla's last claim has come to an end, the reality is far more nuanced and far more revealing. Because this story is not simply about diamonds, tiaras, or priceless gemstones. It is about legacy, it is about memory, and above all, it is about who is trusted to carry the emotional weight of Britain's royal future. For years, royal jewelry has represented far more than elegance. Every necklace, brooch, and tiara carries the echoes of coronations, weddings, jubilees, and moments of national mourning. These pieces have quietly witnessed generations of triumph, heartbreak, and duty. Whoever wears them is often seen as representing not just the crown, but the continuity of the monarchy itself. So why are Prince William and Lady Louise suddenly at the center of this conversation? And why have so many commentators interpreted recent developments as a sign of changing priorities within the House of Windsor? To understand the answer, we first have to travel back through decades of royal history, because the story begins long before today's headlines, and its most revealing chapter has yet to unfold. Long before social media transformed every royal appearance into a global conversation, the British monarchy understood the extraordinary power of symbolism. Every procession, every portrait, every carefully chosen piece of jewelry carried a message that extended far beyond personal taste. Within the royal family, jewels have never simply been beautiful objects. They are living artifacts, connecting one generation to another and reminding both the family and the public that the crown is built on continuity rather than individual personalities. Queen Elizabeth II understood this perhaps better than anyone. During her 70-year reign, she wore many of the monarchy's most treasured pieces, each with remarkable consistency. A familiar brooch worn during a Christmas broadcast, a tiara chosen for a state banquet, or a necklace passed down through previous queens often became part of the nation's collective memory. To millions watching around the world, these heirlooms represented stability in changing times. But one of the least understood traditions within the royal family is that not every royal jewel belongs to the same collection. Some pieces form part of the crown jewels, safeguarded on behalf of the nation and reserved for constitutional ceremonies. Others belong to the royal collection or are held in trust for future sovereigns. Still others are private family possessions, inherited across generations according to personal wishes. That distinction has often created confusion, especially whenever discussions arise about inheritance or succession. Following Queen Elizabeth II's passing, public interest naturally shifted toward the future of these treasured collections. Who would wear them? Which traditions would continue? And how would King Charles III shape the next chapter of royal symbolism? Queen Camilla stepped into an unprecedented role. Becoming queen consort meant honoring both constitutional tradition and the memory of the late queen. Many of the jewels she has worn during official engagements were selected according to long-established royal protocol rather than personal ownership. Royal historians have repeatedly emphasized that wearing a historic piece does not necessarily imply permanent possession or inheritance. Yet headlines often blur that distinction, creating narratives that appear more dramatic than the documented reality. At the same time, another generation has quietly begun emerging into public view. Prince William, as Prince of Wales and future king, represents the monarchy's long-term future. Every public decision he makes is viewed through the lens of preparation. His role is no longer simply to support the reigning monarch, but to demonstrate the qualities expected of the next sovereign. Increasingly, royal commentators observe that his actions reflect a careful balance between honoring tradition and modernizing the institution. Standing beside him is Catherine, Princess of Wales, whose graceful return to public duties after her health challenges has reinforced public admiration for her resilience. Together, they increasingly symbolize the monarchy's next era, a family focused not only on ceremonial obligations, but also on continuity, stability, and public service. Within that future-focused narrative, Lady Louise Windsor occupies a unique and often overlooked place. The daughter of Prince Edward and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, Lady Louise has spent much of her life away from the intense media attention experienced by other younger royals. Her parents deliberately sought to provide her with as normal an upbringing as possible, allowing her to pursue education and personal interests while gradually participating in selected royal engagements. That quieter path has shaped public perception. Rather than becoming a constant headline, Lady Louise has earned a reputation for modesty, discretion, and respect for royal traditions. Many observers have noted similarities between her reserved manner and that of her late grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, particularly in her calm public demeanor and preference for duty over publicity. Those qualities have fueled growing interest whenever her name appears in discussions about the monarchy's future. It is important to recognize, however, that much of this conversation remains rooted in public speculation rather than official announcements. Buckingham Palace rarely comments on personal inheritance matters, especially those involving private family possessions. As a result, royal experts and commentators often analyze appearances, traditions, and historical precedents rather than confirmed palace statements. That silence creates an intriguing tension. Without formal confirmation, every appearance at a state banquet, every choice of jewelry, and every family event becomes part of a much larger conversation about continuity and trust. Viewers naturally begin asking whether seemingly small moments carry deeper significance. Perhaps that explains why recent reports involving Prince William, Lady Louise, and Queen Camilla have attracted such extraordinary attention. The discussion extends far beyond gemstones or ceremonial accessories. It touches on the monarchy's identity, its future leadership, and the values each generation hopes to preserve. History reminds us that transitions within the royal family rarely happen overnight. They unfold gradually, through countless symbolic gestures that may seem ordinary in isolation, but become meaningful when viewed together. A carefully chosen appearance, a public act of confidence, a gesture of inclusion, or sometimes an unexpected absence. The deeper question, therefore, is not who wears a particular jewel. The real question is what those choices may ultimately reveal about the future vision of the House of Windsor, and whether recent developments truly represent a quiet shift in royal priorities or simply another chapter interpreted through the public's fascination with one of the world's most closely watched families. That question would soon become even more compelling as new reports began linking Prince William and Lady Louise to decisions that many believed could redefine the emotional legacy of Queen Elizabeth II's most treasured possessions. As speculation gathered momentum, the conversation surrounding Queen Elizabeth II's treasured jewelry took on a life of its own. Headlines became increasingly dramatic, suggesting that Prince William and Lady Louise had somehow brought Queen Camilla's connection to the late Queen's jewels to an abrupt end. Yet when the excitement is separated from the verified public record, a far more fascinating and ultimately more meaningful story begins to emerge. The discussion did not begin with an official palace announcement. There was no press conference, no carefully worded statement from Buckingham Palace. Instead, the conversation grew through a combination of royal appearances, expert commentary, historical precedent, and widespread public interpretation. As often happens with the British monarchy, silence created room for speculation. Several royal commentators observed that Prince William has become increasingly involved in safeguarding the traditions that will eventually define his own reign. While King Charles III remains the reigning monarch, William's public responsibilities have expanded significantly. Every state occasion, diplomatic visit, and ceremonial appearance quietly reinforces his role as the future guardian of the institution. That broader context is essential, because discussions about royal jewels are rarely about ownership alone. They are about stewardship. Many of the monarchy's historic pieces are not personal fashion accessories. They are symbols entrusted to senior members of the royal family for official duties. Who wears them, when they are worn, and on what occasions often reflects constitutional tradition rather than personal preference. Queen Camilla has appeared wearing several historic pieces since the coronation, entirely consistent with her role as queen. Royal historians have repeatedly emphasized that these appearances do not necessarily indicate permanent ownership. Rather, they reflect established practice, with senior royals wearing significant jewels appropriate to their position and the occasion. At the same time, attention began turning toward the younger generation. Prince William's increasing prominence naturally prompted discussions about how the monarchy will transition over the coming decades. Every decision surrounding public symbolism is viewed through the lens of continuity. Commentators noted that William appears deeply committed to preserving the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II while preparing for a future shaped by his own family. Lady Louise unexpectedly became part of that conversation. Although she has remained largely outside the spotlight, royal followers have long admired her respectful approach to public duty. Her quiet presence at significant family occasions, her close relationship with her grandparents, and her understated public image have led some observers to view her as someone who embodies many of the qualities Queen Elizabeth II valued most: patience, discretion, and service without seeking attention. According to several royal commentators, those personal qualities have contributed to growing public curiosity whenever Lady Louise's name appears alongside discussions of royal heirlooms. Importantly, however, there has been no official confirmation that she has inherited or been promised any specific collection of Queen Elizabeth II jewels. Instead, what emerged was something far more symbolic. Observers began noticing a subtle pattern within the royal family's public image. Rather than emphasizing hierarchy alone, recent appearances seemed to highlight continuity across generations. Prince William represented the monarchy's future leadership. Catherine symbolized resilience and stability. Younger royals, including Lady Louise and Princess Charlotte, increasingly represented the future custodians of royal tradition. That perception fueled increasingly dramatic headlines. Some outlets suggested that William had effectively secured Queen Elizabeth II's legacy for the next generation. Others interpreted Lady Louise's growing visibility as evidence that trusted younger royals would play an increasingly meaningful ceremonial role in the years ahead. Those interpretations soon evolved into claims that Queen Camilla's influence over the late Queen's jewels had somehow come to an end. Yet the documented evidence tells a more measured story. Buckingham Palace has issued no announcement stating that Queen Camilla has lost access to any royal jewelry. Nor has there been confirmation of any dispute involving Lady Louise, Prince William, or the allocation of Queen Elizabeth II private heirlooms. Royal experts frequently caution that inheritance matters involving private collections remain confidential unless officially disclosed. Likewise, jewels associated with the crown continue to be governed by long-established constitutional practice rather than public speculation. Still, symbolism often carries enormous emotional weight. Even without official confirmation, many members of the public viewed William's increasingly central role as evidence that Queen Elizabeth II values were being carried forward through the generation she spent years preparing. His careful approach to public service, his emphasis on stability, and his visible commitment to family resonated with those who admired the late Queen's sense of duty. Lady Louise's reputation only strengthened that narrative. She has never sought celebrity. She rarely speaks publicly. She has built her image through consistency rather than publicity. In many ways, that quiet dignity reminds royal followers of an earlier era, one in which service was measured less by headlines than by reliability. That is perhaps why discussions surrounding her generated such strong emotional reactions. People were not responding merely to the possibility of inherited jewelry. They were responding to the idea of inherited values. As the conversation expanded, another question quietly emerged. If the monarchy is entering a new chapter led by King Charles III today and eventually by Prince William tomorrow, what qualities will define those entrusted with preserving Queen Elizabeth II's legacy? Will it be seniority alone? Or will qualities such as humility, discretion, service, and public trust increasingly shape the monarchy's future? Those questions remain unanswered, and perhaps they always will. Because the British monarchy has never revealed every decision immediately. Its most meaningful transitions often occur gradually, through years of careful preparation rather than dramatic announcements. Whether recent speculation ultimately proves accurate or simply reflects public hopes, one thing has become unmistakably clear. The world's fascination is no longer focused solely on today's royal family. It is increasingly centered on the generation preparing to inherit not only priceless treasures, but also the responsibility of protecting one of history's most enduring institutions. Just as that realization began to settle in, many royal observers recognized that this conversation was never truly about jewels at all. It was about something far more enduring, the legacy those jewels were always meant to represent. As the discussion surrounding Queen Elizabeth II's treasured jewels continued, it became increasingly clear that the real story extended far beyond gemstones locked inside royal vaults. The fascination was never simply about who might wear a tiara at the next state banquet or which brooch would appear during a diplomatic reception. It reflected something much deeper: the public's desire to understand how the values of one remarkable reign will be carried into the future. Queen Elizabeth II spent more than 70 years demonstrating that the monarchy's greatest strength was consistency. Through political change, social transformation, family triumphs, and personal losses, she remained a symbol of continuity. The jewels she wore became visual reminders of that promise. Every familiar sapphire, every diamond tiara, and every historic brooch represented decades of unwavering service rather than personal privilege. That is why conversations about these heirlooms evoke such powerful emotions. People are not simply imagining objects being passed from one royal to another. They are imagining history itself changing hands. Prince William now stands at the center of that transition. Although King Charles III continues to lead the monarchy, William increasingly embodies its long-term future. Every public engagement, every charitable initiative, and every carefully observed appearance reflects preparation for responsibilities that extend well beyond his own lifetime. Royal historians often note that successful monarchies survive because each generation protects the institution rather than attempting to reinvent it entirely. William appears to understand that balance. His public image consistently combines respect for tradition with an awareness that modern audiences value authenticity, family, and emotional openness as much as ceremony. Catherine, Princess of Wales, strengthens that image. Her gradual return to public duties following her health challenges reminded millions that resilience can become one of the monarchy's most powerful forms of leadership. Rather than projecting perfection, she demonstrated humanity, a quality that deepened public affection and reinforced the monarchy's connection with ordinary people. Lady Louise represents another important part of that evolving picture. She has quietly built a reputation founded on discretion, humility, and respect for duty. Without seeking headlines, she has become an example of how younger members of the royal family can contribute through steady commitment rather than constant public attention. Whether or not she ever assumes a larger ceremonial role, many observers see in her the same quiet sense of responsibility that defined much of Queen Elizabeth II's life. Queen Camilla's place within this story also deserves careful perspective. Since becoming queen, she has carried out hundreds of official engagements while supporting King Charles III during a demanding period for both the royal family and the nation. Public attitudes toward Camilla have evolved significantly over the years. Although speculation surrounding royal relationships frequently generates dramatic headlines, Buckingham Palace has provided no official evidence of conflict regarding Queen Elizabeth II's jewelry or inheritance arrangements. As with many royal stories, public perception often moves faster than confirmed facts. Perhaps that is why this conversation resonates so deeply. It reminds us that the monarchy operates on two levels at once. One level is constitutional, defined by laws, protocols, and centuries-old traditions. The other is emotional, shaped by memory, symbolism, and the personal connections people feel with members of the royal family. Those two realities do not always move together. A single appearance can spark worldwide debate, while truly significant constitutional decisions may unfold quietly over many years. The enduring strength of the monarchy has often rested in its ability to preserve that balance, allowing tradition to evolve without abandoning the values that give it meaning. Looking ahead, the next generation will inherit far more than ceremonial responsibilities. They will inherit expectations, they will inherit public trust. And they will inherit the challenge of proving that an institution rooted in history can remain relevant in a rapidly changing world. Whether through Prince William's future reign, Catherine's continued public service, or the quiet contributions of younger royals like Lady Louise, the future of the House of Windsor will ultimately be measured not by the jewels it preserves, but by the principles those jewels have always symbolized: duty, stability, integrity, and service above self. Perhaps that is the true legacy of Queen Elizabeth II. Not the priceless treasures she wore, but the example she left behind. Because crowns may pass from one sovereign to another, historic jewels may appear on different generations. Titles may change with time, but the values that sustain the monarchy endure only if each generation chooses to protect them. And that may be the most meaningful lesson hidden beneath every royal headline. Long after the speculation fades and the news cycle moves on, history will remember not who claimed a jewel, but who honored the responsibility that came with wearing it. As we close this documentary, one question remains: what truly defines a royal legacy? Is it the priceless jewels passed from one generation to the next, or the values of duty, integrity, and service they represent? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you believe the future of the monarchy will be shaped more by tradition or by the new generation preparing to lead it? Share your perspective in the comments below. We read them all and enjoy seeing the thoughtful conversations they inspire. If you enjoyed this documentary, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next in-depth exploration of the royal family. We'll continue bringing you carefully researched stories that separate verified history from speculation while uncovering the people, symbolism, and defining moments behind Britain's most fascinating institution. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next documentary.